So the scumbag stated his murders were for revenge. That's the anti-cop version of shouting Allah Akbar at Fort Hood. It's called a declaration of intent. And so I wonder, will any Ivy League campuses delay classes for the death of these two officers like they did with exams after the grand jury decisions? Nope. The only trauma they honor is the pretend kind for sensitive co-eds. And so the mayor asks that people come forward with tips on threats against cops. I guess he missed this. So Santa came early for cop haters. Of course, we will be told that there's no connection between chanting dead cops and cop killing. Sorry, a bat could see that connection. Seriously, what do you expect after months of demonizing the police? Murderers are not a power structure, but chanting death to cops suggests there's a fan base. The unbridled protests implied official support. It's the left-wing version of a half marathon. God bless the cops for not cracking, because I would. Saturday night, I took a walk to City Hall. It was dead quiet. I realized that the city only supports the outrage when it's sanctioned by the left. It'd be nice to see a large city with unbelievably low crime support those who've made their lives safer. But police are victims of their own success. None of these activists realize that cops have done more to save minority lives than Sharpton ever could. After all, those murdered cops were protecting citizens in a high-crime area. Al wasn't on that corner. It's heartbreaking how loud Twitter was this weekend and how quiet New York was on the streets. Maybe it's time to change that. After the shootings, there was some interesting video that came out of Ferguson. Why don't we roll that?
Pigs in a blanket! Pigs in a blanket! Pigs in a blanket!
6, 7, 8, 9.
So that's, of course, just an aberration, right, Bob?
There was 9 people there, and don't point to the left with it, please. The left overwhelmingly feels terrible about what happened here. The left is not against the police. The left, you pick out a couple people like Sharpton and these idiots that you put on the air, and you put us all together into one left being against cops. It is outrageous, it's wrong, and that's all I got to say.
But you have a history of anti-cop hate all through the 70s and 60s. The left. We have Joanne Chesimard in Cuba. She killed a cop. How did she get to Cuba? Who helped her? Goldwater?
I agree with you. There was anti-cop feeling in the 70s, and a vast number of New York City police were corrupt in the 70s.
Okay, that's okay. Sorry, I apologize.
You just said we picked out Al Sharpton. So did President Obama. He visited the White House 83 times last year. No, but here's the point. The reason why we're highlighting Al Sharpton and all the calling for more protests, dead cops, what do we want, more dead cops, and then 2 dead cops appear the following week. The reason why we highlight that isn't because he's a race baiter, a huckster like Jesse Jackson or Louis Farrakhan. It's not because of that. It's because Al Sharpton is the one that President Obama has said he's going to be my go-to guy on race. Al Sharpton is the one, for some reason, Sony has said, we're going to talk to him about what we put on film now. It's just incredible
and he's
what's going on in America where he
the new AG. It's just crazy.
He is at the ground zero, epicenter of problems in race in America, and everyone seems to divert to him for their idea for ideas on how to solve race problems. Here's his idea: make it worse so we can continue to make a buck.
And he says he's in charge of hiring, that he's helping out with that too, to make a decision for the Justice Department.
Right.
So just love that for a moment.
Dan, I'm going to throw to a shot of Ray Kelly talking about the events, and then I'd like you to comment on it.
Okay.
Reasonably.
Obviously, there's a lot of emotion involved when 2 police officers are killed. I think when the mayor made statements about he had to train his son to be, his son who is biracial, to be careful when he's dealing with the police, I think that set off this latest firestorm. And quite frankly, the mayor ran an anti-police campaign last year when he ran for mayor.
So really, it's not about the mayor caused this. It's that it's the atmosphere around it which causes a firestorm.
I'm interested in de Blasio. He might be the worst politician I've ever seen. He has an ideology. He believes it and he lives it. But it's one thing to tell your son that in private. It's another thing to broadcast it to the world and use it to get a headline in the New York Times to explain how empathetic you are to people you think are being unfairly targeted by the police.
But that stories of race have become stories of race. If you've noticed, for example,
a race to the race story.
No, in the recent People magazine about a certain first lady who had somebody asked her to pull something down from a shelf. That became a story about race at Target, when in fact, I guess previously it was a story about how somebody didn't recognize her.
Yeah, I almost
stories about race are now stories about race.
I almost never get asked to get something down off a shelf for somebody, which might be shortest.
Yes.
I'd like to see the transcript of that, though, because I wonder if the First Lady was actually saying that. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to give sort of the benefit on the doubt on that one.
Well, it could have been the People magazine editors.
I think that to watch exactly. I thought the way it was edited was wrong.
Yeah.
De Blasio will be interesting to see if he can take a punch and get back up. And he had a long press conference today with Police Commissioner Bratton, where they're trying to show that they were united. Probably the most important audience that they have right now. It's not the citizens of New York; it's the police force.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Bill Bratton. You know, having to be in this situation, because he really does love the men and women that serve the NYPD Blue. That is for sure. And to be in a situation like this, a man who has been celebrated across the country for what he's done for police departments. He went down to Los Angeles as well and did a fantastic job there. And all the work that they have done, Kelly and Bill Bratton, to make this town, this city safer, and then to see such tragedy like this. And so the point is, we're not making a direct link saying this is de Blasio's fault, but show some leadership and exercise some caution. Choose your words carefully. They have impact.
Good point. I was going to bring up Johnny Ray Nicastro, New Bedford, Massachusetts, decided on his own to take his family and just go to various police precincts and drop off flowers and cards Saturday. It's probably not a bad thing. Other people should be doing that and doing what this family did, which I thought was pretty inspirational.
Very nice.
And I think cops wouldn't mind seeing some happy faces. Ahead, we remember the victims of...